This is a brand new Volkswagen Scirocco from 1981. And I don't mean it's a Scirocco that looks like it's in good shape. This is essentially a brand new car case. How many miles are on this thing?
Under 900 original miles. So genuinely, this car is essentially brand new. It's as new as really any 80s car you're gonna find just about anywhere.
So this car is a really interesting example, and it actually belongs to Volkswagen of America. And the story behind this car is really interesting. So back in the day, there was a gentleman that ran a series of dealerships. He ran a Volkswagen dealership, and he took delivery of this 1981 Scirocco and then immediately got a Ford. So he was driving this Ford, so he parked this Scirocco in his parts department and just let it sit. And every year he'd go out and he'd start it up and make sure it would run, and then he would let it sit. And he'd start it up, make sure it would run, and then let it sit. And then eventually he passed away a bunch of years ago, and Volkswagen acquired this car from that gentleman. So what we have here is essentially as new of a 1981 car as you're realistically ever going to find.
Yeah, somehow Tommy and I are fortunate enough that we keep coming across basically brand new 80s cars. This is not the first time we've had a cool opportunity like this, but anytime we're checking out a vintage vehicle that has under 1,000 miles, it's a pretty special experience, and the Scirocco is no different.
Now, this is a car that I am fascinated with because I think it's one of the best looking cars of the quote malaise era, right? Now, when everyone thinks the Mark I Volkswagen, that's the car that comes to mind, right? The original Rabbit and then Golf and the GTIs. But this is technically a Mark I Volkswagen that a lot of people forgot existed. So underneath the hood case, we're going to find a transverse 4-cylinder, and kind of walk me through some of the specs on this.
Yeah, it's a 1.7 liter 4-cylinder with 74 horsepower and 90 pound-feet of torque. So not tons by today's standards, but this car weighs less than 2,000 pounds, so it really doesn't need that much horsepower to keep it motivated.
Now this is cool. Look at this. You get all the original stickers and plaques that this car would have had brand new. Yeah. And like all of the bits are all original, right? The radiator, the engine block. So here's the deal with this engine, right? In Europe, they got 1.1 liters through 1.6s. Here in North America, we got this beautiful little 1.7. It's not a particularly high performance engine, as Case mentioned. This is an 8-valve engine. These first gens never got the 16-valve, but then in 82, especially like when you get to the really hot ones in like the mid to late 80s, 87-ish, then they got 16 valves and they got some real power. So this car by modern standards is probably going to be pretty slow, but I love the way this thing looks. What do you think of the design, Case?
Yeah, it's very sharp. That's one of the coolest things about the Scirocco is the car is very squashed down. It's kind of low and kind of wide, especially for the era. And when you compare it to something like this, and as iconic of a shape as that is, it's much more upright versus this car. So the Scirocco's always been a really cool silhouette.
And I love this belt line that looks like it should be a flat line, but then it starts to taper toward the back, which kind of gives it that raked forward appearance. You've got this fastback design. I love the louvers on this one as well.
Yeah, dude.
So period. They even work with the wiper, which is very cool. And then popping the hatch here, tons of space. Now this was the era of really tall liftovers, but look at all the room back here, Case.
Yeah, it's deep, it's wide, there's tons of space in the back, so it is a very usable hatchback. There's a rear seat as well, but it's two-door, which makes it all that much cooler. It says Scirocco right there on the dash. And Tommy, what do you think of the dash trim here?
Oh dude, the kind of faux wood applique that they use.
From the finest of fake trees.
And I don't think this was factory. Breaker 19, we got a CB radio in this thing, which is cool. Of course, you got your full vinyl bucket seats. This steering wheel, shockingly sporty. Look at that. Doesn't it look cool?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's just a really cool design. You got the little Wolfsburg crest in there, or is that the Karmann crest? Someone dropped me a comment below. But very simple dashboard design. I love how it's all oriented toward the driver. So you've got your fan switches, you've got your vent controls, and you've got these teeny tiny buttons for your AM, FM radio. This thing is so cool.
It is absolutely dirt simple, and that makes it that much cooler.
Should we take it for a spin?
I think we have to, Tommy. So here's a little fun fact. You know, this was my dad's first car, as a Scirocco.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it
was. Was it really?
Yeah. And his brother had a Rabbit. His brother wasn't as cool.
This is such a 70s experience.
The buzzer.
Hey! So make sure we're in neutral there, and it starts up like a brand new car because it's a brand new car. No power steering in the Scirocco.
No, which makes it even better.
This thing is cool. Oh, what a treat. Now I'm sure some of you are going to say, how dare you put miles on that car? But we're here at Volkswagen's celebration of their 70th anniversary, and they wanted us to drive it. So what are we going to say, no?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
It's a good opportunity. Plus, ultimately, cars are meant to be driven, and this is no different. Even though it is very cool that it survived this long with so few miles, it's good for it to drive every now and then.
It is weird. You know, Case and I are lucky where we get to drive a lot of old cars. It's weird getting behind the wheel of a car from the 70s that feels this tight.
Yeah.
Like the steering wheel actually feels connected to the wheels. And look, there's like very little slop at it, if any, in that shifter. I think this is a 4-speed Case? Yeah,
yeah. And it's pretty cool. So there's a lot of vintage Volkswagens that are here, and I'm very impressed with Volkswagen's collection of classic vehicles because they keep them in really good condition. All of the cars that we've driven on this event, they're all very well kept mechanically. There's a lot of museum cars that look fantastic as displays, but they do not drive that well because they don't drive regularly.
Right. This thing is so rad. Look, there's the original 1981 Scirocco owner's manual.
That's so cool. We're green.
81, by the way, the final year of the first gen Scirocco. I'm gonna take this at a little bit of an angle because we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to bottom out. Again, everything is still like new on this car, so you gotta keep it in good shape. But how's the shift feel?
Oh, it feels so good. You know, I keep expecting that clutch bite to be higher because I'm expecting a worn out clutch, but it's a brand new clutch. No, I mean, I get it. I understand now why people love these Mark 1s, and that could be anything from a Caddy to a GTI. They're just crispy. This thing it feels like, I mean, what we've lost as a society is the ability to build a fun car that doesn't ride like a wheelbarrow. You know, every sporty car you get into, and to some extent even like the new Golf Rs, they ride so firm, right? And they're so low to the ground and they have such little sidewall. This was a fun to drive, sporty intended vehicle that, had real ground clearance and has compliant suspension that's not going to beat you up. As far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty comfortable car.
Well, the other cool thing about this is this car is still very stripped down, simplified, basics, but everything that you need, nothing you don't. And it has a little bit still of that very simple Volkswagen feel you get from the old air-cooled stuff, but it's modern enough, quiet enough, and fast enough that you could drive this on regular modern roads with other modern cars at modern speeds and still be fine.
You know, it's interesting. Some days I get into cars in this job, old cars, and say, wow, it's amazing how much cars have progressed. And then you get into something like this and you're like, wow, it's amazing how much cars have not changed at all. Do you want to try driving it?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay, cool. Here, you bring it back. I mean, it drives like a modern car. Like the brakes are good. The steering is excellent. That's cool.
And it's quiet inside, which is impressive as well, because there's a lot of older Volkswagens that are, of course, very, very simple, very thin doors, which this has got thin doors too. It's not the most amount of sound insulation, but quite a bit more than some of the old air-cooled stuff that we've been driving.
Put my seatbelt on, 3-pointed seatbelts, yeah. Like, is this a safe car? Absolutely not. But it feels a heck of a lot more substantial than a Type 1 Beetle, right?
Yeah, and safer than a VW bus, that's for sure. Because yesterday we were driving a very beautiful VW bus, but it was insane. You're sitting right at the front of the vehicle. This one is better than that. And you're right. Oh, it feels so...
The steering is so good,
perfect. Right? Yeah, absolutely. The steering is 100% intuitive. You know exactly what the front tires are doing immediately. I haven't even gotten to the first stop sign, and I'm impressed with that. And yeah, the brakes feel tight. Everything feels tight. This car is so nice.
All the comments can be like, you idiots, of course it feels tight. It's got 857 miles on it.
Which is fair. The other comment that we're going to get a lot in the emails that we're going to get is, how much?
Yeah.
How much is that car? I want to buy it. This car belongs to Volkswagen. They're not going to sell it, so don't even bother asking, because we would beat you to it anyway if it was for sale.
Listen, it's not a fast car, but it's fast enough.
Yeah, it is.
It goes down the road. I don't actually know how much a car like this is worth. I just don't think there's a lot of comps.
No.
What do you compare a 0 mile 74 Scirocco to, or 81 Scirocco?
It's a good question because there's not going to be anything else that you could compare it to your point. These weren't really cars that people stashed away and preserved in this way for the most part. These were cars that were used daily and used up in a lot of cases. So you're not going to find another one of these, which is why this is a genuinely really special experience to get to be able to be behind the wheel of, even however briefly, because once again, we do want to kind of maintain its low miles.
I don't want to drive it too far,
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things that's cool, is that it survived as long as it has. So a very brief drive in this very special car, but man, is this amazing.
No, it's really, really a great experience. So folks, let us know what you think of these early Siroccos. Let us know what you want. Do you want to park it back where we had it, Case? We can grab a thumbnail. Reverse is next to first. So you push down and
So it's different from the air-cooled that we were in.
100%.
But still, this car, the steering is so good. That's the thing maybe more than anything that's standing out to me.
That's what we're missing in new cars, buddy.
I know, all the electric power steering, it's just not the same.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below. We'll see you next time.